Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 3 preview between the Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Texans. As talented as they are defensively, the Texans must get off to a good start, which hasn't happened in the first 2 games of the season. Now, granted, they've turned it on late, which is why they're able to get key stops when they needed them, but they definitely have to improve in that aspect. The offense has been very consistent so far in the short season. Now, versus Baltimore, look for the Texans to exploit the mismatch in the secondary between their tight ends and the Ravens safeties. Now let's move over to the Ravens in this matchup, and Joe Flacco hasn't trusted his protection nor his reads in the first 2 games, and he's leaving way too many opportunities out there on the field for their offense. And now Ray Rice is going to be out and Bernard Pierce gets the start. So versus the Texans, I will go with more of an ace set with the fullback flex as a pseudo wingback to help aid in the running game by helping an offensive lineman get to the second level, and that way it can make their job that much more easier to try to run the ball. Defensively, the deep back end in the secondary is a slight concern. Matt Elam, in my opinion, is playing out of position at free safety. He's more of a strong safety. You want him closer to the line of scrimmage, and I'll explain that more in detail inside the lab. However, the run defense is very stout and they can apply pressure, so getting in the face of Schaub this week is key. Otherwise, they'll get gashed in the passing game. So let's go inside the lab to take a look at some X's and O's for both teams in this matchup. The Houston Texans do a great job in their short yardage and goal line running attack, and a lot of times they influence defenses to bunch their guys up in usually a goal line set, which could be a 6-2 or a 6-3, depending on how many safeties or linebackers they want to commit to the box. But here's how they do well in a running game. You see right here your basic goal line set, 6-2 defense, and this is what they do on the goal line. They'll bring this guy in motion, and they're going to trap the 5 technique right here, and it's a great running play. It allows Arian Foster to weave his way in the hole following his wingback or tight end, and they do a great job of executing this play. And this is one of their short yardage and goal line plays. So you see right here, base block, bam, bam, everybody's blocking down. You're gonna have the guard and center combo block with the center working up to get the backside backer, because this is where the point of attack is. And the reason why you want to bring this guy in motion, you want an extra blocker at the point of attack. So what we're going to do here, now we're going to have this play side guard block tackle right here. We're going to have play side tackle work up to the linebacker. Tight end kicks out that backer. We bring the wing back in a short motion, and his job is to essentially wham block, trap the 5 technique. Arian Foster weaves in, goes in, reverse out, hands off right there. So that's your basic goal line wham play where they utilize the tight end. Now I'm going to show you another play where they can get creative in the backfield and put both Ben Tate and Arian Foster in the backfield at the same time. Now here's a play where they're utilizing both Ben Tate and Arian Foster in the backfield at the same time. This is a way they can get creative, and this is something that they should do this week versus the Baltimore Ravens in short yardage and goal line situations. You use one back to influence the linebacker while you're giving the ball to the other back going the other way. I'm going to show you how we're going to block this up. And we're pulling the backside guard here. Again, bring in extra guys at the point of attack, and the backside guard will do a great job of kicking out this technique right here. So what we're going to do, play side guard, play side tight end, blocking the linebacker, eventually working his way up to any extra defender that's coming. And we're going to have this tackle work his way up and get this linebacker. Play side guard is blocking down, center is blocking down, base block up here, and we have the tight end kicking out this backer right here. Now, how are we going to influence this guy from not making the play? We're sending Ben Tate or Arian Foster this way. So that should influence him to hesitate a little bit to this side. Why? Because we're bringing the backside guard around, kicking out or leading in. Reverse pivot to show this motion to the running to the linebacker that he's handing off to this guy going this way. Arian Foster cuts underneath and hopefully runs to the end zone or gains the first down. So you see how they can be creative in their running game, one by using the wing back or the extra tight end at the point of attack as an additional blocker, or utilizing both backs in the backfield at the same time. Mission number 1 for the Baltimore Ravens this week is stopping the running game of the Houston Texans, and I think they do have the personnel to go back to a traditional or a situational 46 defense versus the Texans running game. And when you see right here, when the Texans bring 2 wide receivers to one side in that twin set and their double tight set where they can go zone either way, with Arian Foster, you want to protect yourself. And I think right here, Matt Elam, I know they're using him at free safety, but he is better suited to be closer to the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage, because he's a factor in the run support. You don't want him deep down the field covering deep halves or thirds or quarters. So you want him close to the line of scrimmage, which is why I say they can go back to that traditional 46 look. So let's say this is Matt Elam. So again, you rather him be this way. He's very good one-on-one tackling skills and can also chase the run if it's going away. And also does a great job in short to intermediate coverage versus a tight end if he leaks out. So that's why I trust Elam closer to the line of scrimmage. You're going to have Suggs here, who is always a factor in run support, and you don't want to give him an opportunity to be in certain drop back situations. You want him close to the line of scrimmage as well. You got Canty, you have Nada, and excuse my spell, I'm just writing short trying to fit it all in. You have Arthur Jones, and right here, in obvious passing situations, yes, you want Dumerville right here rushing a passer. In obvious running situations, based off your film study, you want this to be Courtney Upshaw. And you want this to be Josh Bynes outside as well, because you could trust him versus a tight end, your inside linebacker in your traditional 3-4 set. And this would be Darryl Smith, who's done a great job so far for the Ravens. And back here at free safety, I will go with Brendan Trawick back here, just for the situational purposes, and I will put Webb on the inside and Jimmy Smith on the outside. So again, versus outside run, you're still protected with Bynes, and you also protected with Dumerville rushing the passer and obviously pass situations, or run. You got the additional run support and Courtney Upshaw. So I do believe in certain situations, they can go to a situational 46 that would help them versus the run and put their better coverage guys close to the line of scrimmage for the play action pass. So you want to take, the point of this whole exercise is taking Matt Elam out of the deep middle, so that way you can put him close to the line of scrimmage where he can be much more effective. Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For the Texans, they have to attack the linebackers and the safeties in the passing game. We talked about that earlier on in the video. That's where they have the mismatch. Their tight ends are excellent. And they also have to beat the guards to the spot. If you want to stop the running game of the Baltimore Ravens, they move their guards a lot. You want to beat them to the spot, and that clogs up the running lanes, and that way you can stop the run at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield. And you want to win early defensively. Like I've said before, you don't have to be in shootouts or in overtime games if you're able to start the game the way you finish it on defense. And for the Ravens, you want to keep it condensed offensively. You want to use a lot of bunch sets, a lot of condensed formations, so that way it aids in the running game to create those angles and also those natural rub routes in the passing game. And the inside linebackers, that's both Josh Bynes and also Darryl Smith, they have to attack and not wait versus the run against the Houston Texans. A lot of times when you're playing a team that runs the zone, you tend to wait and then attack. You want to attack downhill to cause disruption, and that's how you can essentially bottle up the running game. And I would utilize Torrey Smith's speed on the inside, give him an advantage on those in and out breaking routes with his speed to accelerate out of his cuts, and that way you can hit big plays deep down the field in the passing game. The X factor in this game for the Texans will be their offensive tackles. They're going against a different animal this week in the Baltimore Ravens outside backers, who do a great job in reestablishing the line of scrimmage. So if the Texans want to get that ground game going, these tackles have to be able to seal the edge and hold their own at the point of attack. The X factor for the Ravens will be their offensive coordinator, Jim Caldwell, and the type of game he can call versus this Texans defense, because you know you're going to have to deal with J.J. Watt at some point in this ball game. You got to get Flacco comfortable in the pocket so that way he can go through his progressions, so that way the passing game can get going to avoid being one-dimensional versus a defense in the Houston Texans. I like the Houston Texans in this ball game. This will be a defensive battle. I think both defenses will show up and essentially slow down each other's offense, but which offense can step up and make a play when needed, that's where I trust the Houston Texans more so than the Ravens. So I think the Texans go on the road and knock off Baltimore in a key AFC battle. And also want to give a huge shout out to Texans fan forums and Raven fan forums for always showing football game plan support.